horsemen in Wellington, and I happened to get involved in arresting some of her friends. And when her friends noticed my name tag, they're like, "Oh my God, you're..."
There ain't even no pictures of her.
And I said, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh my, she's been trying to reach you all these years." And I said, "Well, I'm right here, and here's my phone number." I got a call from Danielle in the next couple of days. She started yelling and screaming at me, saying how I abandoned her, how I left her. So
you could tell that nigga just seen his ex bitches fucking.
The first event was at the Boynton Beach Mall. I was like, wow, she's beautiful. I mean, she's a very beautiful girl, and she was a little reserved, you know, and she had the little, you know, attitude. "Oh, you're a troll, you're the police, you're this." I'm like, "No, I'm your father." It was very emotional.
Police.
I mean, it really hit hard knowing that there's a child out there who didn't know who her father was.
Shut the fuck
and all
up.
the things that I wanted to do for her, but I wasn't able to do it.
We wanted Danielle to be a part of our family. We always did. And
we've sent her
I don't know.
so much. We sent
Shut the fuck
cards,
up. Both of y'all
which I don't
just.
think she got
Oh
all
my
of them.
God.
There's not one day in my life that I've not stopped thinking about Danielle, knowing that I've had a child, knowing that I wasn't able to raise her, wasn't able to
Even
change
no
her diapers,
pictures of
wasn't able
Danielle
to feed her,
though.
wasn't able to watch her teeth come in, you know, not being able to watch her walk the first walk or say "dada." You know, there's so many things that I've missed. I'd always paid child support, and we thought that if Barbara would just raise Danielle, even the court said I could have visitation. We even set up some supervised visitation, and she didn't show up. She's a victim of exploitation. She's being exploited as a child.
what Danielle is doing on social media, the clothes that they have her wearing, the things that they have her saying.
She's talking about oral sex. She's talking about STDs.
Just the other day, you know, you kind of asked a little bit before about our kids. We ended up telling them about Danielle, and again, it was like, oh my God, we've got to tell them that they have a sister this way, you know, versus how we had really hoped that we'd be able to talk with them about it.
You know, one of the big things to talk about my boys, Danielle's always wanted to meet my boys, her brothers, her half brothers. And Barbara wanted me to introduce the boys to her last March. And I said, Barbara, it'll happen, but they need to go. I wanted to do it through a social worker or a psychologist, because she can't just tell these two boys 9/11, or they were actually 8 and 10 at the time, hey, here's your sister. Her management team wanted to call me, and she started calling at me, saying, you know, cursing at me, you know, I don't want to be in your life, I don't want you to be my father, and all this kind of stuff. And she goes on these roller coasters from yelling and screaming to being a little bit calm, and then to just regurgitate all the stuff that how I left her and didn't want to be part of her life. Danielle needs to go to a program. If it takes 6 months, a year, 2 years with inpatient care for mental health, for substance abuse, for all this stuff, I want to send her there. And when she gets better, because I truly think that she can get better, then she has an opportunity to be a child, and she could live in our home. You know, we have a room upstairs. We can make her room. The boys would be ecstatic.
Ideally, if we had our way and we could wave a magic wand, we would be a normal family that's here, and there would be no craziness, no social media, no LA trips, and Danielle would be in our house with us and our boys.
She's going to come around. One day she's going to come to me. I know she
will.
So
the day she
gets
here, she's
so much
not
positive
fucking
in her life, and share this story on how she's changed with other kids. She could share with families, talk about parental alienation, talking about bullying, talking about drugs, talking about underage sex, talking about stealing cars. You know, she stole a car one day to come see me. That's how desperate she was. If all these kids who are following her understood what this child has gone through, parents have asked me, they said, Ira, please stop your daughter, because other kids are acting the way she is, thinking that it's acceptable behavior, that they'll get rewarded the same way Danielle is getting rewarded. She's crying out for help. She's doing these things for attention, and she's not getting the attention from the right people.
We've been contacted by TMZ. Ira's been contacted also by several other places to do interviews, to provide
FaceTime, interviews, fly me out to do shows.
And that's not what we've wanted to do, because that's not really what's going to help the situation, and that's not what's going to be best for Danielle.
Danielle needs to know that she has a father who cares about her. She has an extended family, a close family, 2 brothers, grandparents, cousins, aunts and uncles, a whole set of friends that want her to be part of our life, to give her a life to know what it's like to be a child, part of our family.
It's too late now,
not the
motherfucker.
craziness that she's going through.
Piece
She
of
needs to know that
fame.